off site plans last week for the LAPC meeting, that was Friday. Had some changes in a few of them. Before that meeting, we got those corrected. Our hazard mitigation plan grant was applied for by Northwest Regional Planning. We're gonna get started on that. And we're in the middle of a commodity flow study with 5 Bugles, which is a consulting firm out of Eau Claire. And there's 5, 6.
Those are bugles in the box.
Bugles to me retired fire chief. No, I had an itch all of a sudden. I did it with my pinky. Did you see that? Thought I was cleaning out the inside of my ear with that. So 5 Bugles is doing that, and it's more stuff that's transported here and dropped off here, not just the stuff rolling through. So they're doing an in-depth with what's on the train and stuff like that. So that's supposed to be done by fall. Other than that, that's it on that side. On the ambulance side, we've got about 6 first responders we're working with to get their paperwork done so we can get them in the field. We're working on mobile elite use so that we can do ward reports on the road rather than having to wait to get back to a garage. Yes. 6 new ones. Yeah, they've taken a class in the past and never took the test. Now they don't have to take the test. They have had passed the class, so some of them have been a year and a half, 2 years, and have to find their certificate. So that's the struggle right now, is going back and finding their certificate from the class. But we're working on it. We'll get them through it. Let's see. Right now, when we get to the hospital, they print out the EKG in strips, tape it to paper, and then scan it and put it into the call that they for the patient. This new system will allow them to send it to the cloud, grab it from there right when they're in the report and add it, and get rid of that paper step, which is a lot of monkey around that paper step. So, then we get some that are upside right and upside down, cook it, scanner grabs it, twists it, rips it. So we're working on that. 254, he's got still going through the body work from the deer hit last fall. That's going to be coming up here pretty soon. 252, the parking brake's not completely releasing the cable, so the warning dinger goes off once in a while. The maintenance guy at Hawkins, John, I think his name is, got underneath there and gave it a stretch. No, it's quit dinging, so that's a good thing until we can get it to the highway department, get that fixed. And I went to property last Friday and got approval for the ambulance for 2025, so that's done now. I'll get that purchase agreement sent in today. We had a meeting last night, our monthly meeting. Ashley Goodis came and introduced herself and talked about the programs that she's going to be in charge of and the new way to calling up workman's comp claim or a FMLA request are both done external now. So she went through that with them so they know how to do that. And just other things, why they would call Ashley, what they would call me for, what they would call her for. So they were very appreciative because they usually don't get that contact and they're not here in the building. So they were real happy about that. We also went through the Narcan training. We carry Narcan in the truck for patients, but it's a low dose. We've got high dose now in the ambulances for the staff, through public health, just like the officers carry. So if they think they've become in contact with it, they're give themselves a dose of it. And then also, with that, if they do that, they need to call a second ambulance, just in case they continue to go down, not back up as quickly as we would hope they would. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but we do end up in some of the same scenes as the officers, so we just want to make sure that they're safe. So that was distributed last night. And that's what this box is, it's some expired stuff, because we use expired ones, so they get, ours they drop in a syringe and they put the atomizer on it and squirt it up their nose. This one you just pull it and it just injects it right up their nose, so in a mist. So Tom's looking at me like, what? Well, let me show you, Tom. This stuff don't hurt nobody. So it looks like this in the package. And it's kind of like, anything you shoot up your nose with a little mist or allergy spray or whatever. you stick that up your nose, when you pull it, just boom, right up your nose. And the whole works is garbage, and it's not medical waste, because that's
One time.
so little in it, one-time use. So, I had some from the old grant that was written, so we used those last night, and then she's gonna use them for future training, so that's why I got a box. I gotta remember to take her on my way out of here today.
I think they're giving it to all the town clerks for voting and everything too.
Yep, they got it. Mm-hmm. Town clerk's got it. Some of the fire departments that they wanted the training, I don't know if you guys ever got in touch with each other to have them get over there.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Bruce did it. I think Sheldon might have done it already, but I'm not sure. But they're scheduled to. Lady Smith doesn't wanna do it. And I don't know if she's heard anything back from Hawkins, but, so, we had that training last night, which went quite well.
Why wouldn't they wanna do it?
They just don't have to carry it. So ours are leaving the truck, and it'll just be there, and it's for the EMTs, the first responders, not for the patient. So they'll just sit in the truck, and if they need it, they'll grab it from there. So the first responders or any EMT that responds to the scene will have one in their kit, and then there'll be 2 in every ambulance. So she had plenty with her grant to give me that many, so I've got, I almost have 25 spare in my office, so a little bit different documentation. If they use one, you need to write up the thing, who they used it on, when, and what they thought they were in contact with, and then that goes to public health, so that they need to track it with the grant, how it was used, so. We went through all that last night, so.
Dosage, what dosage are the clerks getting?
The same as 4.0 was the high dose. The stuff we give to a patient is 0.4, so 1/10 is the dose. We carry 5 though, and we've given 3. So, but that's a lot of monkey around if it's you, and you want, the staff we wanna keep awake and keep them conscious. So that's why we give them the bigger dose, same with the officers. Patient, we don't necessarily wanna wake them up, we just wanna keep them breathing. Because the opioids are a respiratory depressant, so it'll make them stop breathing if they take too much. So we just want them to stay breathing.
There's opioids in there?
No.
No,
This
it's
stuff
yeah.
for that.
Oh.
It's
Plus, when you wake them up, they're usually violent.
Yeah, we just, when they get violent at the hospital, on the back of that little tiny ambulance, so we just keep them breathing, it's less work than, if they quit breathing, if this doesn't work and they quit breathing, we just bag them. I mean, it ain't like we're quitting, we just keep doing what we do, but this is just a step to try to make it a little bit easier in the back of the ambulance, so. That was new last night. We got that in there, and I'll be gone the rest of the week. I'm back late Friday from Lake Geneva, so for the first management conference, like I said. I can't remember if I ever brought my, on the road again slips like Miranda put, an apparima paper into it this time. I can't remember if I brought that a month or two, if not, I'm gonna, but you gotta approve that? You need approval for that? That one? They already approved it, so they can sign it anytime, right?
Oh, yeah.
Cause I brought it that I was gonna be gone and they approved me going to the training.
Yeah, that's approved.
Well, then I just gotta get somebody to sign it the next one. I'll change Friday, unless there's any questions, that's what I got. Other than there's, again, RSV, whooping cough, influenza, COVID, and then a mixture of things that they're not really sure what it is that are going around, and I've had a couple staff members that have got hit with it, and it's pretty nasty. So it lays them up pretty good, so, and there's a stomach virus going around too, there's stomach ailment, it's a virus, but, everything they eat turns into a discharge, so. Post haste. Ain't that amazing, Tom, what that little visual thing I just put in your head?
Yeah, TMI.
So, that's what I got.
So the training class was with the last one.
Yeah, or maybe even the month before. Yeah, I did a bunch of them together.
You don't have any new one.
Nope, nothing going on here.
Payment of the bills. Any questions on
I'm waiting for Terry. Usually got a question.
what?
We have one for
The
Tom.
5th 12 lead,
Oh.
EKG
Should be the,
monitor.
is it there?
If the sheriff's, and I got the medical examiner.
It's this one right here.
That 12,000 for the contract.
Yeah.
That's annual.
Yes.
They're not stable.
Gotcha.
No, sorry. That's a 5-year contract.
Oh, fine, okay.
Yep, 6,000 a year. The cost 30,000, so it's ridiculous, but the next one ambulance is gonna cost ordered with them, so that contract will go down, but our current costs are starting to have issues, so one is you can't hardly get batteries anymore.
Does that cover all of our costs?
No,
Just
we have a
the one?
contract with a different company for the other four. And as we get the new ones, then we'll migrate over to Stryker doing them all, because the other company can't do it under warranty. And they've had to fix a few things and adjust them, and they've been here a few times. So,
The CPAPs are a little expensive, huh?
yeah, they're not cheap, and we're using quite a few, between them and, mega movers, that's our two big, they picked up 5 mega movers yesterday again, so mega movers like a tarp about almost the size of this table, take people up and move them with. They're about a little over $20 a piece, and we use a lot of them. It can't be longer, according to the company, good way to sell more. There's no other way to lift these people, some of these people, so.
Safely.
Yeah, these went down in, Looney Bin the other night in the bar, and actually 4 or 5 bystanders, they got handles all the way along the side now, and the handles got 4 or 5 bystanders, so it's an easy lift, and put them right over the cot, and away they went with them, so, it worked out real good, and that's the idea of it, as a firefighter, you share the weight, you're not hurting anybody. But they're expensive.
CPAPs is an improvement.
Oh yeah, that was a big step in the service.
$20 is probably reasonable, if it's not gonna drop somebody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And not get somebody hurt or, yeah.
I'll make the motion. You have a motion?
Oh.
Was that a second?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I heard a voice coming in.
I tried to sneak one in, you guys know.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Want to swear?
Pleasure.
Nope, Lake Geneva. Today's meeting is canceled because we're meeting in Lake Geneva tonight, so.
All right.
Budget review?
On the ambulance side, we showed 30,000 from last year in the red, but there's still about 50 calls they haven't billed out because of that system not working, and they still don't have there's 11 of them that were helicopter transports that haven't transferred from our system to the billing company, and the state's trying to work on a computer code to get that to work right. So that'll be fine, and the emergency management one shows in the hole, but we haven't got our grant money yet, so I'm expecting about that much in grant money. Used to be the grant ended in September, was a federal, followed federal guidelines, now it follows the state, which ends the end of the year, so we don't get it before April. Ever. And this year's budget's fine. My telecommunications or whatever it is, 225 budget's about used up already, but I got, payment for something in there that don't belong in there, so I put it in the wrong account, so I did that. Yes, all right, thank you, everybody.
Medical examiner?
For February, we had, 2 natural deaths, that's all we had. No autopsies, 6 cremations, 4 hospice deaths. We used 4 hours of on-call time. There was no donation request. Let's see, there's no, request for training, discussion of any departmental issues. I do have something that came up, and it's a little bit hard to explain, but I'll use, this last one I had, I think it was on Monday or something of that sort. I got a call at like 5:30 in the morning. I needed to be at the hospital, ER. Any deaths that are in the ER I need to do. I went out there, I started doing my stuff. The nurses, of course, are usually busy. I wait till they have some time to talk, and so I started taking my pictures. I noticed a huge mark on the guy's back, and when the nurse came in, I asked her what it was. She said, well, he was in a ATV accident in Sawyer County. Well, of course, then that's not my case. It goes back to Sawyer County. I did my due diligence. I was at the hospital for just under an hour. This isn't like the first time it happens where I go to a scene and then ends up either not being my case. It might, I've been to a scene where filled out all the paperwork, and then the woman said, well, should we call hospice? And I'm thinking, well, that's who they should have called to begin with. On these cases, what I have been doing is I'll like charge for like every other one. They're not hard cases. I didn't put a lot of time into them, but I don't want to charge a whole case for a little amount of time that I put in. I guess what I'm getting at is, if we show up at cases and they end up not being our cases, what do you kind of want me to, how do you want me to treat those? I'm not really sure, like, how, you know, I guess I kind of judge, like, well, 2 I did were really little ones, and then the third one, you know, maybe a little bit bigger, and charge for that one, and, you know, and not for the other 2. I just, I guess maybe there might, it was brought to my attention, in kind of a weird way, but I thought maybe we might want to put something in place if it's not like, when I was on vacation, Doug had a huge rigmarole that went on at like 3 in the morning. A hospice nurse didn't want to go. She didn't want to drive from Eau Claire to the northwest part of our county for a hospice death. She said, have the medical examiner do it. And Doug's like, well, that's not our case. Well, ends up, after about 3 hours of he just didn't know what to do. He went up there, pronounced death, waited for the funeral home, you know, to get there and stuff. But he didn't sign the death certificate. The hospice, of course, jumped in and signed that because they're getting paid. So it was just kind of like cases like that. We're not actually signing the death certificate, but we do our due diligence.
Wouldn't you just charge them an hourly rate for what time you got put into it?
I mean, I could do that.
You're doing it for somebody else.
I could do that if it's not like, because I don't go home and then start digging through medical records and filling out other forms and stuff. But, you know, I haven't been charging for all of them. It's like once I think, well, okay, there's 3, now I'll charge for 1. So I just didn't know how I should do that. I just don't want to take it upon myself, I guess, anymore to kind of make that decision. If it's an hourly rate, that's fine, we could do that, no death certificate, but we had time in on a case,
How soon do you realize that it's not your case when you get there?
Well, it was about an hour this last week.
It took an hour to determine that it actually wasn't yours.
Well,
Because
yeah.
you waited to.
I waited to talk to the nurses, started doing the, because usually all ER cases are mine, but this one came from Sawyer County. So wherever the accident happened, it jumps back to that county. So I didn't know it was from Sawyer County. So they just called the wrong person. And there'll be other times when, okay, the one that got brought to my attention was I went out, and I had to be there no matter what. That doesn't mean that I'm the only one that can sign the death certificate, but, it was a case out at the hospital. I had to be there. I was legally required to be there, cause it was considered, an ME case. But then, a couple hours later, the funeral home comes, they start asking questions. The doctor says, oh yeah, I'll sign, which is no big deal. That's no big deal. But I did the case, but I didn't sign the death certificate. And I would've had to have done the case no matter what, just because of the circumstances of the case. Legally, I guess.
Well, on this one, I have to agree with Jeff that ambulance, you guys get called, everybody gets called for something that don't really matter. Death leads to strange things happening, like both professionals and family. So if your call, even if you don't sign the death certificate, I think you're on call and you should be getting paid for it. You know, we gotta make sure that.
I don't wanna get paid $185 for something that isn't, you know.
Well, we could have, come up with a base rate then for.
I mean, right now I have like,
Stop and go.
for like training, and for like transporting, like if I transport someone to the cities, it's $16 an hour. And that doesn't bother me. I mean, that's okay for me.
But would you bill like Sawyer County for that hour?
No.
That's what I was.
The one thing that, that I did send a bill for was that hospice case, and I haven't gotten anything back. Because, huh?
Probably not.
I probably won't either.
So in emergency services, it happens all the time. It happens to us often. This probably happens to you once to 3 times a year.
Yeah.
It happens to us all the time where we'll go to a call, we'll get dispatched to a burglary or disorderly conduct, and a deputy or 2 deputies will be there, and we meet with the complainant, and after 10, 30, 45 minutes, we find out that we don't have jurisdiction. This crime occurred in a different jurisdiction. It is what it is. You know, we don't send Chippewa County a bill for handling a third of their case. What we do, what our department does, is we go there, we meet with the complainant, we might even be taking pictures, we might be getting statements, a statement of loss, and then we figure out that it's not our jurisdiction. We'll still complete our reports and do our documentation and tell this person, the complainant, you have to report this to Chippewa County. But if they want some of the information that you gave me, they can contact our department, our records department, and we will give them what we completed. We don't send out bills, just the cost of doing business. It doesn't happen all the time, but it definitely happens multiple times a year.
Well, am I wrong for saying this, go back to personnel to set up a new pay schedule for this kind of incident here?
Yeah, because I do think that if you're working, you should be compensated, but I understand why you don't feel you want the $185.
Right, that's just way too much. Okay, I just wanted some advice on.
No, it's not here. Mark talked to personnel, or you talked to personnel.
Do you want me just to get on the personnel committee and kind of explain to them that there's times when it's not feasible to pay the $185?
Yes, and then I would present to them that you're okay, if you are okay with the $16 an hour, and the city's okay with that rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just not sure that.
There might already be a resolution, so we just
amend it, because I'm not really sure that a motion can necessarily be made off of how they
So I just wanted advice on like kind of what to do, so that'll be my next step is to go to personnel. Okay, okay, then I'll do that. So that's all I guess I had for, issues. And then I have, my next, page is, my last saving sheet, it's the yearly saving sheet, so it shows, kind of, it shows what I've saved, throughout the whole year. Previous administration asked for 132,000 from the levy, I used 43, total of 89,371, about 90,000. And then I have, a couple bills, nothing out of the ordinary, I guess. We needed a key for the van.
Was that a replacement or?
I thought we have okay, this sounds kind of weird, we've always had the van in a locked garage. And then once the hospital got tore down, then we had to move it. The key I had on my key ring opened the door, but it didn't turn on the van. I know, it's kind of weird. When it was in the garage, we always left the keys in it, left the, vehicle unlocked. So Doug and I could each have a key. I always thought I had a key, but I guess I didn't. We always just kept the keys in there. But then I went on vacation and.
So then it was duplicate key.
Yeah, it's just one we really needed. And I did go through the car wash with the van. I was told that there's car wash tokens or tickets with, Charmaine, so I'll get one from her next time I do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the bill. Can we have a motion to approve the bills? Is there a second?
Sorry. Second.
Moving second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And budget so far is
Seems to be okay.
any questions on the budget?
So, is this from 24?
No.
Oh.
That's 2023,
Oh.
the whole ending of,
Okay.
should be up to date on the bills then,
Just for curiosity, there's gotta be some, I noticed the auto insurance, there's a 000.
right, because
I know it's expensive, I mean, car insurance.
I think it's because, and Ashley, maybe you might know this for sure, is it because the van now belongs to the fleet, that it's zero
So those expenses are in the fleet budget.
in the fleet budget, yeah?
So it doesn't get broken down to individual vehicles,
No, it's not.
that's fine. And then there's an expense for it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Alright. Our average population for the month of February was 34. We have one out on the monitor, and on call 20 at this point. You can see the training that was received, and the list of training requested as
once it's.
I move to approve them, Mark's signature is the only one you need.
Just kidding, yes. You need 3.
Motion to approve.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Got it. Do that.
Have a special point of interest, we got the public town hall meetings in reference to jail project coming up on April 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The 3rd is in Warehouser at 7 p.m. The 4th is in Hawkins at 7 p.m. and the 5th is here in Lady Smith at the Jump River. Other than that, payment of the bills.
Any, questions on the bills? No questions?
Just a little information while you guys are signing. We don't have to listen to silence. I talked about the weapons offenses, the increase in that. Every month we get, cards come through my desk, and of all the officers that are killed in the line of duty, throughout the United States. And there's several every month, but I would, just kinda went through and I picked the ones, not those in traffic crashes, but those that are shot and killed, responding to calls in January and February. There was 14 of them. Several on traffic stops, arrest warrants, domestics, burglaries, serving eviction, a couple on trespassing calls. So the threat is becoming greater and greater on all the calls, so they're not just, you don't know anymore that you're going on a gun call or a knife call. You could be making a traffic stop, or you're going on a trespassing call. The one guy was just going to serve just a warning to the guy, he was shot and killed upon right there on property. Just kind of back up the information I've been throwing at you. I've just been keeping a list of those. The total number of officers is way more than that, but, a lot of them are, have heart attacks or killed in car crashes. Last month there was 5 officers killed in car crashes. Either their vehicle was struck or they actually left the roadway, maybe they had medical issues prior to that. But, I just been picking out those that have just been shot and killed. One was, stabbed to death, on a trespassing call. That was actually in New Mexico. Wasn't there just another one? Is that the one in New Mexico? No, there was another one, an officer was stabbed to death, so.
The officers that are shot are, how many of them are wearing vests?
All of them? I would guess all of them.
So they're shooting in the face.
A lot of times, they don't say, don't tell me where, but, I would guess, the head, the stomach, below the vest, or, they shoot through this side, if they go between the vest here,
Vests don't stop all rounds either.
right, no, if they're rifle rounds, vests we wear, don't stop some of them, so. Anyhow, just information. I'll move on. Oh, I need a motion on the bills, please.
Yeah, I was kinda waiting.
I guess I did if you're pointing at me.
There's a second. Tom, second. All in favor, say aye.
23, I thought last month was the final, but maybe this is the final in 23. Shows us under budget of 26,000. Any questions on that one?
Do you think it's gonna carry through that, be under budget, because that's with all the overtime you have?
Well, that should be it. Actually, would you know? I mean, that's 23, that should be the final.
I don't know if this is final or not, I was like February.
I think they run through the end of February.
Yeah.
Get everything. Okay, I think.
Discussion, possible motions, Southwest Tower lease. George has worked pretty diligently to try and see if we can get on the, tower down in, on the, Big Bend there at 40 and, Tip Ave. We did get an agreement, from the company, agreeing to allow us to do that. Their term is it's a 10-year term with an automatic renewal, of 5 years after that. Which can be automatically renewed 4 times for an additional 20 years. If you don't wish to cancel out of it. But their monthly rent is $450 a month. Which is pretty close to what we're paying on all the others. I think we're 400 on the others, which is a fairly reasonable rent compared to what a lot of people pay on them.
Is that set to, that won't go up?
Huh?
Is that set to for the 10-year period then?
My understanding, that's how it is. Rich has this, and he's looking at it. He has a couple questions that, he wants me to ask Ashley about here.
They have in there that'll go up 3% each year.
Yeah, on the anniversary, so
Yeah.
my guess that's at the end of 10 years, isn't it?
Anniversaries happen every year.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, at each
So there's-
anniversary of the commencement
That's what
date.
it clause in.
So there's a inflation percentage in there, is the way I read it, 3%.
We'll make a motion to sign it.
It still has that right here, so right now it's just like for the.
You'll get a copy in your packet when the final draft comes out.
Sounds good. Let's go over to it.
Any other questions on this?
Radio.
Review.
I think that's all set.
Review the radio project RFP recommendations. We put out an RFP. You wanna fire away?
Sure, okay, so you guys approved an RFP to be put out for upgrading to simulcast with all of our towers. We received 2 responses, one was from Ancom and one was from Gencom. They are very extensive responses. And there is a bit of a price difference in there, but we need to dig into that and figure out why. So we would like to conduct interviews with both responding companies. And we are hoping for one representative from this committee to sit in on those interviews. And we're hoping it would be you, Mark, as the chair.
What are they gonna be?
We tentatively have them for the 20th. It's a Wednesday,
Like next week.
next week Wednesday. Okay, is there a different date that we?
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday? Do you have the sheriff's schedule?
Okay. What day?
Thursday or Friday would.
That won't work for me. I'll be in Marshfield.
Are you busy all day on Wednesday, you said?
Well, it's hard to tell. No, I'd probably be back, something like 1 or 2 o'clock. If Van leaves at 7, so. I can find out from the service officer how many people are scheduled and what time their appointments is and get back to you.
Okay, or could we look at that last week of March?
That's,
25th, Monday the 25th.
that'll be fine.
That work for you, Ashley?
Yep, George. No.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try for the 25th.
Yeah, cause there's a lot of questions in those 300 plus pages.
Right.
Time?
What time?
Morning, yeah. Like 9
9
work?
o'clock?
Cause we'll have to, I'll make sure that that's okay with the vendors too, that they can get you that early.
I'm on it.
And is there anything in particular you want from the, vendors, Mark? We were gonna ask them to do kind of a informal presentation, walk us through their proposals, and then do a Q&A at the end. Does that sound okay?
Maybe we're looking at, everything's on track.
Yep.
It was a lot of,
Yep, that's a lot of
I think
information.
one of these is 900 pages long.
and as Phil was saying, the pages on the second one weren't,
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
Just like, while we're going to, I think we've got an obstacle out there waiting for.
An hour and a half.
Okay, I'm done. That's all I need. You guys feel like an hour and a half is enough? I would think so.
Give us time to talk to them and then talk to them about that.
Or should I give it 2 hours?
I don't remember how quickly
Nine,
the
11.
judges-
9/11.
Alright.
9/11.
One of them might talk at town hall, so you never know.
Right,
Yeah, one does.
yeah, he does.
So we can, the committee can sit in.
We would like one person from the committee.
Okay, just as audience?
What?
No, to participate in analysis of the,
Yeah, I'd just like to hear what they have to say. If not, go ahead.
I have any other questions, I guess, on? I have a Mark Steckel coming in.
I know. Why?
I will.
Does it become a meeting then?
If this committee wants it to be an open meeting, that's your choice. But I mean, we are interviewing.
Well, I expressed my opinion.
Debrief, Mark.
Any other questions? Okay. Mark Steckel is supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. Okay. He wants to make a presentation to the sheriff's office, on some, fire equipment that, they have. And he'd like a picture with the committee, when he donates stuff, that's why he's here.
I'll abstain.
I'll leave.
You're
Why don't you go
right,
and fire,
buddy?
You wear a nice flannel today, why are you so afraid of a picture?
All you'll see is this.
That's all
All
right.
you.
Hide behind Tom.
I'll let you sit in the second row.
Morning. Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, guys.
Thanks for coming in, and you wanna take a few minutes and explain what you have and?
What we've got here are, it's a fire suppression tool. We're here on behalf of the Ladysmith Masonic Lodge, Mystic Tie number 280. At this point, we have actually distributed 4 of these, one to the fire departments in Ladysmith, Bruce, Hawkins, and Sheldon. But we got thinking about it, and the reality is, in the rural areas, the deputy's probably the first one on the scene. He's gonna beat the fire department. And if this can buy him a few minutes to reduce that flame, maybe get people out of there, that would be a good thing. This small, compact, state-of-the-art device made by Fire Suppression Solutions can minimize or extinguish a rolling fire, and it's designed for contained area up to about 5,300 square feet in less than a minute. And it can minimize and sometimes eliminate the need to put water on the fire, saving the structure from both fire and water damage. The fire suppression tool, or FST, emits a powerful aerosol that is environmentally safe, won't harm humans or animals, and where other fire depression devices typically pull the oxygen out of the air, this does not. They are especially effective when helping to extract citizens or other personnel from within a burning building. After pulling the pins, you have 8 seconds. Then once that second, the igniter pin is pulled, it's gonna go, whether you want it to or not. So you'll wanna be throwing it in close to the fire as possible, or the origination of the fire, and it can reduce the temperature in the room by hundreds of degrees, making it safer for if somebody's trapped, also if for fire personnel entering the building. We donate these to the Rusk County Sheriff's Department in hopes they will never have to be used, but with a prayer for safe deployment should they ever be needed. So we're in a little better financial situation at this point, so we've got 2 of them. Hopefully down the road, we'll be able to acquire a few more to get them in some of the other slots. How many slots do you have, Jeff?
We have 20. 12 patrol, but total of 17.
It may take a while. I know the state organization, the Wisconsin Masonic Foundation, is working to equip all of the rural state patrol vehicles with both one of these and an automatic, an AED, so that, because a lot of times they may be the first one on the scene in the rural area. Fire department's not. We've got great response time for volunteer fire departments, but typically it's probably the state patrol, the sheriff, that's on the scene first.
Almost all the time.
So we hope you can use them if needed, and hopefully down the road we can help accommodate to get a few more.
Is there an expiration date on those?
15 years.
Okay.
And this is a setup to where there are 2 pins. This one actually allows you to get at the igniter pin. So the first pin is pulled, you have access to the igniter pin. Hit that igniter pin when you're ready to throw it, because like I say, once the igniter pin is pulled, 8 seconds it's going off. So.
One time use only, or can they be recharged, or?
It's a one-time use. Now, these units run just shy of $900 a piece. I can't swear to this, but my understanding is if it's deployed, the homeowner's insurance typically covers it. Being designed for more of a contained room, and it can work up to about 5,300 square feet. That's what it's more designed for. I know it's been deployed on a car fire down in the southern part of the state. It did help it, but with a car fire, typically you're burning from the engine compartment into the passenger side, so you're not really contained, but it may minimize the flame long enough to get somebody, help extract somebody. So, but with that, the Ladysmith Masonic Lodge would like to present this, and
Well, we thank you very much, and we'd like to get a picture with the committee and ourselves.
now there is instructions here. There's also a YouTube video you can watch, and if you got any questions, you can contact the name on the operator's manual. You're gonna have to go through it, or whoever has it in their vehicle will have to go through it.
So do those don't necessarily put the fire out, they just, they slow the progression of
It
the
may
fire?
put it out, depending on how close it gets to the fire. It's a potassium-based aerosol that is emitted. So basically it's gonna put a coating on things, depending on the size of the fire. It may put it out,
Make it suffocated.
or at least slow it down.
Okay, anybody got any questions? Alright, well, thank you.
I do have a question. I was just curious, have these been deployed at, the scene? And if so, have they worked
The
according?
ones that I know of, that at least the Wisconsin Masonic Foundation has distributed, it has worked on a car fire, and I believe there was one house fire that it was used in. Now, beyond that, of course, they're selling these to more than just the Wisconsin Masonic Foundation, so I know they're being used. They probably wouldn't be in business too long if it wasn't working to a certain point.
It sounds like, from what you said, that they're probably more effective in a house than they might be as.
They're designed for being within that contained area. Like I say, if you were gonna deploy it on a car fire, I would assume it's gonna depend on how close you get it to the car, wind conditions and all that, because you're not contained at that point. But if you can get some of that aerosol underneath the hood, you got maybe a chance of minimizing it.
So if there were occupants, I'm just curious, if there are occupants in the car, there was a broken window or whatever, and you threw it into the car, would that harm the occupants, or?
From what I've read in the instructions, they want this within 2 feet. It's not supposed to harm you, but if you threw it into the vehicle itself, you're extremely contained in this aerosol within the compartment of a car versus up to 5,300 square feet. From in here, they say that if you are exposed to it, treat similar to smoke inhalation. So I can't quite answer that one, but typically your car, the fire would start generally in the engine compartment, and it's then moving. once it gets to the interior, well, even if a fire starts in the engine compartment, from what I've seen, the car's pretty much gone. It's just a matter of you can slow it down enough to get somebody out.
What if it was thrown under the car?
That would be my guess for the best deployment of it, but like I say, it's more designed for contained spaces.
And once you pull that pin, it starts emitting that solution within 8 seconds, and then it's done in 35 seconds.
Correct.
Right?
Yep, the aerosol sprays over a 35-second period. Actually, when you pull the second pin, first one lets you get at the igniter pin.
Yeah, because they say just pull the pin and throw it in.
Yep.
Are you looking at that right now?
I'm on their website, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're actually seeing it, operate?
Yeah, I'm just reading the 10 reasons to purchase it. You know, the 15-year shelf life, also the batteries are guaranteed for 15 years. And it doesn't say anything about harming people at all. It does say it's environmentally friendly, non-toxic, and non-corrosive. But it doesn't say, hey, you'll be fine if you breathe this in.
Well, from what I've read in, at least in this part of it, it says, if you're breathing it in, you would be treated for similar to smoke inhalations. Now, if you've deployed it, I probably would recommend that the fire department, if they're entering the building, still wear their respirators and such.
Yeah, from what I can see on the website, it's kind of a nifty tool.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Yep, can I get a picture with you?
Absolutely. Get me the whole crew here.
Got a line A, okay?
You guys all wanna come up here?
Let's see here.
You guys come on in.
Let's get up front, Dan, we can look over your
You
shoulder.
want to take a picture?
I can wait, I can go grab it. Oh, sorry, I gave you a little shock there.
Come on, Terry, get right up here.
It's fun, isn't it?
Come on, take another roll back
Terry,
here.
could you kneel down in the front?
I'm gonna sneak up here. Can you see everybody?
Party. Getting together a little bit, like you guys like each other. There we go.
Terry's gonna hide in the back door.
You think you got your finger over my face?
No, I make sure you're front and center. Ready, take one. Oh. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sir? Oh, yeah, there you go, man.
You look familiar for you.
No.
Oh, well, and the only thing that could come up, you guys come up with is Francis Bowdry. I used to hunt with him years ago.
On the box?
That's a while back.
Yeah. They put them in
Well, it was.
That's good old stuff, because they run after
Thank
them.
you. I suppose it could.
That's up to you.
But hopefully.
No, I didn't have breakfast yet. Sounds good.
Where you get people from.
Yep, family restaurant?
Hopefully.
Yep. Sounds good. All right,
Okay.
again, thank you. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Yep, see you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Well, you guys haven't had the
I would have something in the car with it, so I didn't even open it up.
Okay, yes, well, it's a training to teach about yes,
Well, maybe they should send another email saying.
explaining what it is, yeah.
I'm really leery of opening this stuff, so.
Well, that's good though, so you have any training. If you don't take it, they'll start holding you down.
Thank you.
We're working on the rest of it.
Does that complete your, I think you need.
Yes, we're working on it.
Does that complete, your report?
Does.
You can do whatever you want.
It's your world.
If enough of you leave, we'll have to adjourn. Okay, we've completed the agenda, is there a motion to adjourn? Next meeting is April 10th. Same time. Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, we got a motion, is there a second? Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.
See, I thought Bill was supposed to show up those 3 meetings, so.
Yes, yep, they'll meet them, so they'll present the PowerPoint they're going to give to you guys Tuesday night.
Okay. But then we're still supposed to mark on for
That we
the
will.
3 site meetings.
Yeah, if you want, all of them